Henry Langford, a retired space explorer known to his grandchildren as Grandpa, lived a quiet life on the outskirts of a rural planet named Terra Nova. His days were spent tending to his farm, enjoying the simplicity of a life far removed from the excitement of his younger years. One cold winter night, while he was preparing to close up the barn, a bright flash in the sky caught his attention. "What on earth?" Henry muttered to himself, shading his eyes from the sudden brightness. He watched as the light streaked across the sky and disappeared into the woods with a distant crash. Curiosity and a sense of duty spurred him into action. He grabbed his coat, a flashlight, and a first aid kit before heading out into the night. The cold air bit at his skin, but he moved quickly, following the trail of smoke rising from the forest. As he approached the crash site, the smell of burning metal and ozone grew stronger. Henry's heart pounded as he saw the wreckage of a small spacecraft, its sleek alien design unlike anything he had ever seen. "Hello? Is anyone there?" he called out, moving cautiously towards the twisted remains of the ship. A soft moan reached his ears, and Henry hurried to the source. Amidst the debris, he found an alien woman, her pale blue skin marred with cuts and bruises. She was barely conscious, her breath shallow and labored. "Hang in there," Henry murmured, lifting her gently. "I'll get you to safety." Henry carried the injured alien woman back to his farmhouse, his thoughts racing. He had encountered many strange and wonderful things during his time as a space explorer, but nothing quite like this. He laid her down on his couch and quickly set to work, using his old medical kit from his spacefaring days to tend to her wounds. She flinched and whimpered in pain, but he spoke to her soothingly. "It's okay. You're safe now. I'm here to help." Over the next few days, Henry dedicated himself to her care. He changed her bandages, ensured she had enough to eat and drink, and did his best to make her comfortable. Slowly, she began to recover. Communication was difficult at first, as she spoke in a language he didn't understand, but her gratitude was clear through her gestures and expressions. One morning, as Henry was checking her bandages, she managed to speak a few words in broken English. "Thank you for saving me." Henry smiled warmly. "You're welcome. What's your name?" "Zara," she replied, her voice soft but gaining strength. Henry nodded. "I'm Henry. You've had quite a journey, haven't you?" Zara's eyes were filled with a mix of relief and sorrow as she nodded. "Chased by enemies. Crash. Here." "Don't worry," Henry said firmly. "You're safe now. We'll figure this out together." As Zara continued to recover, she and Henry began to communicate more effectively. Using a translation device he had from his spacefaring days, Henry learned more about her background. Zara was from a distant planet, pursued by hostile forces before crashing on Terra Nova. Despite the language barrier, Henry and Zara developed a bond. He shared stories of his adventures, and she recounted tales of her homeworld. Their shared experiences of survival and loss brought them closer together. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace, Henry looked at Zara and said, "You don't have to be alone anymore. You can stay here as long as you need." Zara's eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Henry. You have given me hope." As the days turned into weeks, Zara's condition improved remarkably. She began to move around the farmhouse more freely, helping Henry with small chores and learning about life on Terra Nova. Despite the occasional communication hiccup, their bond grew stronger with each passing day. One crisp morning, Henry found Zara in the barn, trying to repair an old piece of farming equipment. Her knowledge of technology far surpassed his, and he marveled at how quickly she adapted to her new environment. "You've got a knack for this," Henry said, smiling as he approached her. "That old tractor hasn't worked in years." Zara smiled back, a glimmer of pride in her eyes. "In my world, I was an engineer, fixing things. It feels good." Henry nodded, admiring her resilience. "It's good to see you up and about. You're a fast learner." As they worked side by side, Zara began to share more about her past. She spoke of her home planet, a beautiful world rich with advanced technology and thriving cities. However, it was also a place of great conflict, with factions vying for control and power. "My people, they are strong but divided," Zara explained, her voice tinged with sadness. "I was caught in the middle of a war. When my ship was attacked, I thought it was the end." Henry listened intently, feeling a deep empathy for her struggles. "You're safe here, Zara. Whatever comes, we'll face it together. Zara looked at him, her expression softening. Thank you, Henry. You've given me a new life. I won't let you down. Just as life began to settle into a peaceful routine, the tranquility was shattered. One evening, while Henry and Zara were enjoying a quiet dinner, the farmhouse's alarm system blared, signaling an approaching threat. Henry rushed to the window and saw a group of armed figures advancing through the woods. They were heavily armed and moved with military precision. Stay inside, Henry ordered Zara, grabbing his old blaster and stepping outside to confront the intruders. The leader of the group, a tall figure with a menacing presence, stepped forward. We know you have the alien, hand her over and we might spare your life. Henry stood his ground, his eyes steely with resolve. You're not taking her, she's under my protection. The leader sneered. An old man and his farm won't stop us. But Henry was prepared. He had fortified the farmhouse and set traps around the perimeter. As the attackers moved in, they triggered a series of explosions and traps that disoriented and incapacitated them. Zara, unable to stay hidden, joined Henry outside, her eyes fierce with determination. I won't let them take me, she said, standing beside him. Together, they fought off the attackers, using a combination of Henry's tactical knowledge and Zara's technological expertise. The battle was intense, but their combined efforts forced the attackers to retreat. As the last of the invaders fled, Henry turned to Zara, his breath heavy but his spirit unbroken. We did it, but they'll be back and in greater numbers. We need to prepare. Zara nodded, her resolve matching his. We'll be ready. Together, we can protect our home. With the immediate threat neutralized, Henry and Zara began to fortify their defenses, calling upon old friends and allies to aid them. The bond between them grew even stronger, rooted in trust and the shared determination to protect their newfound life. The attack had made it clear that Henry and Zara needed to be ready for anything. They spent the following weeks fortifying the farmhouse and the surrounding land. Henry contacted old friends from his spacefaring days, calling in favors and gathering resources. The small farm soon became a well-defended stronghold. Henry's friends, a diverse group of seasoned veterans and engineers, arrived one by one. There was Oliver, a grizzled old mechanic with a heart of gold, and Tessa, a former soldier with unparalleled tactical skills. Each brought their own expertise, adding to the strength of their defenses. Good to see you again, Henry, Oliver said, clapping Henry on the back. Let's see what we can do to make this place impenetrable. Tessa surveyed the area with a critical eye. We'll need perimeter sensors, automated turrets, and a few surprises for anyone foolish enough to attack again. Zara used her advanced technological knowledge to assist, upgrading the defense systems and integrating alien tech into their plans. These modifications should enhance the efficiency of our defenses, she explained, showing Henry a blueprint. Henry nodded appreciatively. With all of us working together, we stand a fighting chance. As they worked tirelessly, Zara and Henry's bond deepened. They shared quiet moments in between the preparations, their conversations filled with stories of their pasts and hopes for the future. One evening, as they sat on the porch overlooking the fortified landscape, Zara turned to Henry with a serious expression. Thank you for bringing your friends. I know it wasn't easy. Henry shook his head. We're in this together, Zara. You've become family to me. We protect our own. The inevitable day arrived. Henry's network of sensors detected the approach of a larger, more formidable force. The hostile faction, intent on capturing Zara, had returned with reinforcements. Everyone to your stations, Henry shouted, his voice steady but urgent. The farm sprang to life, each person taking their positions. Zara, stationed at the central control hub, monitored the incoming threat. They're deploying ground troops and air support. We'll need to use everything we've got. The first wave hit the perimeter defenses, triggering mines and automated turrets. Explosions lit up the night, and the sounds of battle echoed through the valley. Oliver, manning one of the turrets, shouted over the comms. They're pushing hard, but our defenses are holding. Tessa coordinated the ground troops, using her tactical expertise to outmaneuver the attackers. Stay sharp and hold the line. We can't let them breach the inner defenses. Henry and Zara worked in unison, their combined skills turning the tide of battle. Zara's technological enhancements gave them a critical advantage, allowing them to disable enemy equipment and disrupt their communications. At a critical moment, Henry spotted the leader of the hostile force directing the attack from a heavily armored vehicle. Zara, we need to take out their command unit. It's the key to breaking their assault. Zara nodded. I can disable their shields, but we'll need a direct hit to destroy it. Henry relayed the plan to Tessa. We need a strike team to target their command unit. Can you lead it? Tessa's eyes glinted with determination. Consider it done. As Tessa's team moved in, Zara worked frantically at the control hub, her fingers flying over the controls. Disabling shields. Now! Tessa's team launched their assault, focusing their firepower on the now exposed command unit. The vehicle erupted in a massive explosion, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. With their command structure shattered, the attackers faltered. The Allied forces seized the moment, pressing their advantage and driving the enemy into a full retreat. As the last of the invaders fled, a weary but triumphant cheer rose from the defenders. Henry looked around at his friends, his heart swelling with pride and gratitude. He turned to Zara, who was smiling through her exhaustion. We did it, Henry said, his voice filled with emotion. We protected our home. Zara nodded, tears of relief and joy in her eyes. Together we're unstoppable. The battle was won, but they knew the fight for their future was far from over. Strengthened by their victory and the bonds they had forged, Henry and Zara were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together they had proven that love, trust, and unity could overcome any threat. The victory had come at a cost. Despite successfully defending their home, Henry and Zara knew their enemies would return, likely stronger and more determined. In the quiet aftermath of the battle, they began to plan their next move. We need to take the fight to them, Henry said during a meeting with his closest allies. Waiting for them to strike again isn't an option. We have to find their base of operations and put an end to this. Oliver nodded in agreement. We've been on the defensive for too long. It's time we took the initiative. Zara tapped into her advanced technology, using the data they had gathered during the battle to locate the enemy's base. I've managed to trace their communications back to a hidden facility on the far side of the planet. It's heavily fortified, but if we can disable their command structure, we can cripple their operations. Henry looked around at his friends. This is going to be dangerous, but it's our best shot at securing lasting peace. Are you with me? The room echoed with unanimous agreement. They spent the next few days preparing for the assault, gathering supplies and fine-tuning their strategy. On the night before their departure, Henry and Zara shared a quiet moment on the porch. Are you ready for this? Henry asked, his hand gently squeezing hers. Zara nodded, her eyes filled with determination. With you by my side, I'm ready for anything. The journey to the enemy base was fraught with danger. Henry, Zara, and their team navigated through treacherous terrain, avoiding patrols and automated defenses. The air was tense, each step bringing them closer to the heart of their enemy's operations. According to our intel, the base is located within that mountain range, Zara said, pointing to the jagged peaks looming in the distance. We'll need to move quickly and quietly. Tessa, leading the ground team, signaled for silence as they approached the outer perimeter. Using their advanced technology, Zara hacked into the base's security systems, creating a temporary blackout that allowed the team to slip through undetected. Inside the base, they moved swiftly, neutralizing guards and disabling surveillance equipment. The corridors were dimly lit, the air thick with tension as they made their way deeper into the facility. Henry led the team with a steady hand, his years of experience guiding their every move. Stay focused, he whispered. We need to reach the command center and disable their operations. They encountered pockets of resistance, but their preparation and coordination allowed them to overcome each obstacle. As they neared the command center, the sounds of an alarm echoed through the halls. They know we're here, Oliver said, his voice tight with urgency. We need to move faster. The team picked up the pace, reaching the command center just as enemy reinforcements began to flood the corridors. Henry and Zara worked together to breach the reinforced door, entering the room in a burst of action. Inside, they found the enemy commander, surrounded by monitors displaying real-time data of the battlefield. He turned, his face contorted with anger and surprise. You're too late, he sneered. Our forces will crush you. Henry aimed his blaster, his voice cold and resolute. Not if we have anything to say about it. Zara quickly accessed the central computer, her fingers flying over the controls as she initiated a system-wide shutdown. The lights flickered and the monitors went dark as the base's power grid was disabled. The enemy commander lunged at Henry, but Tessa intercepted him, knocking him to the ground and securing him with restraints. "You're finished," she said, her voice filled with conviction. With the base's defenses down and their command structure in disarray, the remaining enemy forces began to surrender. The battle was intense, but the Allied team's determination and unity carried them through to victory. As the dust settled, Henry and Zara stood in the command center, surveying the scene. "We did it," Zara said, her voice a mix of relief and triumph. "We've struck a major blow against them." Henry nodded, his heart swelling with pride and hope. "This is just the beginning. We'll continue to fight for peace and protect what we hold dear." With their mission accomplished, the team began the journey back to their home, knowing that their actions had made a significant impact. The road ahead would still be challenging, but together, they had proven that they could overcome any obstacle. The bond between Henry and Zara had only grown stronger, forged in the heat of battle and the determination to protect their future. As they looked to the horizon, they knew that whatever came next, they would face it side by side. Upon their return to the farm, Henry and Zara were greeted with a hero's welcome. The local community, now aware of the depth of the threat, rallied around them. However, there was little time for celebration. The victory at the enemy base had weakened their adversaries, but not eliminated them. One morning, as Henry and Zara were strategizing their next move, an unexpected visitor arrived. A sleek, unfamiliar ship landed near the farmhouse, and a group of aliens emerged. They were unlike any Henry or Zara had seen before, their appearance regal and their demeanor composed. "Captain Langford, Lady Zara," the leader said, bowing slightly. "I am Orion, envoy of the Azorian Alliance. We come in peace." Henry and Zara exchanged wary glances. "What brings you to our doorstep, Orion?" Henry asked. Orion's eyes were earnest. "We have been observing your struggles. The enemies you face are a threat to us as well. We propose an alliance. Together we can eradicate this menace and ensure lasting peace." Zara stepped forward, her eyes narrowing. "Why should we trust you?" Orion held her gaze. "Because we have common enemies, and because our survival depends on mutual cooperation. Our resources and technology, combined with your knowledge and courage, could turn the tide." Henry nodded slowly. "All right, let's discuss terms." The following days were filled with intense negotiations and planning. The Azorian Alliance brought advanced technology and resources to the table, while Henry and Zara offered their strategic insights and local knowledge. The combined forces prepared for a coordinated strike against the remnants of the hostile faction. Orion proved to be a valuable ally, sharing intelligence that revealed the enemy's remaining strongholds and their plans for retaliation. "They are regrouping in 3 key locations," Orion explained, pointing to a holographic map. "We need to hit them simultaneously to prevent their escape." Henry, Zara, and the Azorian leaders devised a complex plan, assigning teams to each target. "We'll lead the assault on their main base," Henry said, his voice filled with determination. "Orion, your forces will take the northern outpost, and Tessa's team will handle the southern fortification." As they prepared for the operation, Henry and Zara took a moment to reflect on the journey that had brought them to this point. "I never imagined we'd come this far," Henry said, looking at Zara with admiration. "You've changed my life in ways I can't even begin to describe." Zara smiled, her eyes filled with warmth. "And you've given me a home and a purpose. Whatever happens, I'm grateful for every moment we've shared." The night before the assault, the Allied forces gathered for a final briefing. Henry stood before the assembled troops, his voice strong and clear. "Tomorrow we fight not just for our own survival, but for the future of our worlds. We stand united against a common enemy, and together we will prevail." The next morning the operation began. Henry and Zara led their team toward the main base, their resolve unwavering. As they approached the enemy stronghold, the sounds of battle echoed in the distance, signaling that the other teams had engaged their targets. "Stay sharp and stick to the plan," Henry instructed, his eyes scanning the horizon. "We've got one shot at this." The battle was fierce, with both sides fighting with everything they had. The enemy, desperate and cornered, put up a formidable resistance, but the combined strength and coordination of the Allied forces proved too much. Zara's technological prowess played a crucial role, disabling enemy defenses and turning their own weapons against them. "We're making progress," she reported, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "Keep pushing forward." As they breached the enemy's inner defenses, Henry spotted the enemy commander trying to escape. "There he is," Henry shouted. "We need to capture him alive." They pursued the commander through the labyrinthine corridors of the base. Just as he reached a hidden exit, Henry tackled him to the ground, securing him with restraints. "It's over," Henry said, breathing heavily. "You're finished." With the enemy leader captured and their forces in disarray, the battle came to a swift conclusion. The Allied teams reported similar successes, having secured their targets and neutralized the remaining threats. Back at the farmhouse, Henry, Zara, and Orion stood together, looking out over the tranquil landscape. "We did it," Zara said softly. "We've secured our future." Henry nodded, a sense of peace washing over him. "Thanks to our alliance, we've given our people a chance to thrive." Orion smiled, his expression one of deep respect. "This is only the beginning. Together, we will build a future where all our worlds can live in harmony." As the sun set on a day of hard-won victory, Henry and Zara knew that their journey was far from over. But with newfound allies and an unbreakable bond, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they had proven that unity and determination could overcome any obstacle, and their legacy would inspire generations to come. With the major threats neutralized, the galaxy began to breathe easier. However, peace was a fragile thing, and shadows of distrust lingered among the new allies. Henry, Zara, and Orion remained vigilant, aware that not everyone welcomed the newfound harmony. One evening, as Henry and Zara were reviewing security reports, they received a priority message from Orion. "We have a situation," his voice crackled over the comms. "Meet me at the command center immediately." Arriving at the command center, Henry and Zara found Orion and Tessa already in a heated discussion. "What's going on?" Henry asked, his brow furrowing. Orion gestured to a holographic display showing intercepted communications. "We've uncovered evidence of a conspiracy within the Azorian ranks. A faction opposed to our alliance is planning to undermine our efforts and reignite the conflict." Zara's eyes widened in shock. "How did we miss this?" Tessa folded her arms, her expression grim. "They've been operating in the shadows using encrypted channels and sleeper agents. We need to root them out before they can act." Henry nodded. "Agreed. We can't let a few dissidents destroy everything we've worked for. What's our plan?" Orion pointed to the holographic map. "We've identified key operatives within the faction. We need to capture them and secure their communications hub. It's the only way to shut them down." As they devised their strategy, Henry couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal. "We need to be careful. These are people we thought we could trust." Zara placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We'll handle this together, just like we always have." The operation to dismantle the conspiracy began at dawn. Henry, Zara, and a team of trusted allies moved swiftly to apprehend the key operatives. The first target was a high-ranking Azorian officer named Narek, who had been instrumental in the conspiracy. "Remember, we need him alive," Henry reminded his team as they approached Narek's quarters. "He has information we need." The raid was swift and efficient. They caught Narek off guard, securing him before he could reach for his weapon. "What's the meaning of this?" he demanded, struggling against his restraints. "You're under arrest for conspiracy and treason," Zara said coldly. "Cooperate and it will go easier for you." As they interrogated Narek, it became clear that the conspiracy ran deeper than they had anticipated. "You're fools if you think you can stop us," Narek sneered. "There are others, and they will not rest until the alliance is destroyed." Using the information extracted from Narek, the team launched a coordinated strike on the communications hub. The facility was heavily guarded, but they had the element of surprise. "Let's move quickly," Henry urged as they breached the outer defenses. "We need to secure the control room and shut down their network." Inside, they encountered fierce resistance. The conspirators fought desperately to protect their operation, but the Allied team's determination and superior tactics prevailed. Zara worked frantically at the control panel, her fingers flying over the keys. "I'm in. Shutting down their systems now." The lights flickered as the facility's power grid was disabled. Henry and his team rounded up the remaining conspirators, securing the area. "We've got them," Tessa reported, her voice filled with relief. "Their network is offline, and their leadership is in custody." As they returned to the command center, Orion addressed the assembled leaders of the Alliance. "Thanks to the bravery and skill of our operatives, We have neutralized a significant threat to our peace. Let this be a reminder that vigilance is the price of freedom." Henry and Zara stood together, their bond stronger than ever. "We did it," Zara said, her voice filled with pride. "We protected what we've built." Henry nodded, a sense of peace washing over him. "This is just another step in our journey. As long as we stand together, there's nothing we can't overcome." With the conspiracy dismantled and trust restored, the Alliance could move forward, united in their commitment to peace and cooperation. The road ahead would still be challenging, but Henry and Zara were ready to face it, knowing that their love and partnership made them stronger than any adversary. As they looked out over the peaceful landscape of Terra Nova, they knew that their fight for a better future was far from over. But with allies by their side and hope in their hearts, they were prepared for whatever came next. Together, they had proven that unity and determination could conquer even the deepest divisions, and their legacy would inspire generations to come. With the conspiracy thwarted and trust restored among the allies, the galaxy entered a period of unprecedented peace and cooperation. The Galactic Council, with representatives from every corner of the Alliance, worked tirelessly to ensure that the lessons of the past were not forgotten. Henry and Zara found themselves at the center of this new era, their leadership and bravery having earned them the respect and admiration of countless worlds. One day they were summoned to the Council's headquarters for a special ceremony. As they arrived, Counselor Orion greeted them warmly. "Henry, Zara, your efforts have not only saved lives but have also paved the way for a brighter future. The Council wishes to honor you both for your unwavering dedication." The Grand Hall was filled with representatives and dignitaries from across the galaxy. As Henry and Zara stepped forward, the room erupted in applause. Orion raised his hand for silence and began to speak. "Today, we celebrate the bravery and vision of two individuals who have shown us the true meaning of unity. Henry Langford and Zara have exemplified the spirit of our alliance. It is with great honor that we present them with the Galactic Medal of Valor." As they accepted their medals, Henry's thoughts drifted to the journey that had brought them here. He looked at Zara, her eyes shining with pride, and felt a deep sense of gratitude for the bond they had forged. After the ceremony, they mingled with the guests, discussing future plans and initiatives. The sense of optimism was palpable, and the possibilities seemed endless. "We've come a long way," Zara said, sipping a glass of alien wine, "but there's still so much to do." Henry nodded, his resolve unwavering. "We'll face whatever comes next together. This is just the beginning." The following months were a whirlwind of activity. With the support of the Council and their new allies, Henry and Zara spearheaded several initiatives aimed at strengthening the Alliance and promoting peace. They traveled to various worlds, sharing their experiences and fostering cooperation. One of their most ambitious projects was the construction of a new research station dedicated to advancing technology and understanding between species. Named the Unity Station, it quickly became a hub for scientists, engineers, and diplomats from all over the galaxy. During the station's inauguration, Henry and Zara stood side by side, addressing a crowd of eager minds. "Unity Station represents our commitment to a shared future," Henry began. "Here we will push the boundaries of knowledge and forge bonds that transcend our differences." Zara continued, her voice filled with passion. "This is a place where we can learn from each other and work together to solve the challenges that lie ahead. It is a symbol of what we can achieve when we stand united." As the station's doors opened and the first group of researchers and diplomats entered, Henry and Zara felt a profound sense of accomplishment. They had turned the dream of unity into a tangible reality. One evening, as they walked through the bustling corridors of Unity Station, Henry and Zara reflected on their journey. "We've built something incredible here," Zara said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "But the work is never done." Henry smiled, his heart full. "And we'll continue to face it together. Whatever challenges come our way, we'll meet them head on." Their partnership, forged in adversity and strengthened by love, had become the cornerstone of a new era. As they looked out at the stars from the observation deck, they knew that their story was far from over. The galaxy was vast, and there were still many adventures to be had. The future beckoned with promise and potential, and Henry and Zara were ready to embrace it. Together they had proven that unity, determination, and love could overcome any obstacle. Their legacy would inspire countless others to believe in the power of togetherness and to strive for a brighter, more harmonious future. As they stood hand in hand gazing out at the infinite expanse of the cosmos, Henry and Zara felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They had found each other in the most unlikely of circumstances, and together, they had changed the course of history. Their journey was a testament to the enduring power of hope and the unbreakable bonds of love. And so, with hearts full of hope and eyes set on the horizon, Henry and Zara faced the future, knowing that whatever it held, they would face it together. Life at Unity Station had settled into a productive rhythm, with researchers and diplomats working tirelessly to strengthen the bonds between worlds. However, just as peace seemed to take root, a new threat emerged from the shadows. One night, as Henry and Zara were enjoying a rare quiet moment in their quarters, an urgent message arrived from Orion. The usually composed counselor looked visibly distressed. "Henry, Zara, we have a problem. A rogue faction has surfaced, claiming to have developed a weapon capable of devastating entire planets. They call themselves the Void Reapers." Henry's eyes narrowed. "Do we know where they're based?" Orion nodded. "Our intelligence points to a hidden facility on the outskirts of the galaxy. We need to act quickly before they can deploy this weapon." Zara's expression was one of steely determination. "We can't let them jeopardize everything we've built. We'll need to assemble a team and strike at the heart of their operations." The council convened an emergency session, and within hours, Henry and Zara had gathered a team of seasoned warriors and tech experts. They departed Unity Station with a fleet of ships, ready to confront the new menace. As they approached the coordinates provided by Orion, the fleet went into stealth mode, avoiding detection by the Void Reaper's sensors. The rogue faction's base was a massive, heavily fortified structure built into an asteroid. Henry addressed the team over the comms. "Our objective is to infiltrate the base, disable their weapon, and capture their leader. We can't afford to fail." The fleet descended on the asteroid and the battle began. The Void Reaper's defenses were formidable, but the Allies' preparation and coordination gave them an edge. The initial assault was fierce, with laser fire and explosions lighting up the dark expanse of space. Henry led a strike team into the heart of the base, navigating through narrow corridors and dodging enemy fire. Zara, using her technological prowess, hacked into the base's systems to disable security measures and provide critical intel. "We need to reach the control room," Zara said, her voice urgent over the comms. "That's where the weapon controls are located." As they advanced, they encountered heavy resistance. The Void Reapers fought with a fanaticism that made them dangerous opponents. But Henry's team pressed on, driven by the knowledge of what was at stake. Reaching the control room, they found the Void Reaper's leader, a formidable figure clad in dark armor. He stood before the weapon's control panel, his eyes burning with defiance. "You're too late," he sneered. "The weapon is primed and ready to fire. Your worlds will burn." Henry leveled his blaster at the leader. "Not if we stop you first." The ensuing battle was intense, with Henry and his team engaging the leader and his elite guards in close quarters combat. Zara worked frantically at the control panel, trying to disable the weapon. "We don't have much time," she called out. "I need a few more minutes." Henry fought with everything he had, matching the leader blow for blow. The room shook with the force of their struggle, and just as the leader seemed to gain the upper hand, Tessa intervened, delivering a decisive blow that incapacitated him. Zara's fingers flew over the controls, and with a final keystroke, she deactivated the weapon. The room fell silent, the immediate threat averted. "It's done," Zara said, breathing heavily. "The weapon is offline." The Allied forces secured the base, capturing the remaining Void Reapers and dismantling their operations. The galaxy was safe once more, thanks to the bravery and determination of Henry, Zara, and their team. As they returned to Unity Station, a sense of relief and triumph washed over them. The council convened to celebrate their victory, acknowledging the heroes who had protected their shared future. Standing before the gathered representatives, Henry spoke with a heart full of gratitude. "We have faced many challenges, but each time we have emerged stronger. Our unity is our greatest strength, and together we will continue to build a future of peace and prosperity." Zara took his hand, her eyes shining with pride. "This is just the beginning. With trust and cooperation, there is nothing we cannot achieve." Their words resonated with the assembly, a powerful reminder of the enduring spirit of unity and hope. As Henry and Zara looked out over the faces of their allies, they knew that their journey was far from over. The future held endless possibilities, and they were ready to face it together. With the galaxy united and a new era of peace on the horizon, Henry and Zara stood as symbols of resilience and love. Their story, marked by courage and partnership, would inspire generations to come, proving that even in the darkest times, the light of hope could shine brightly. Together they had changed the course of history, and their legacy would endure, guiding the galaxy toward a future where unity and determination could overcome any challenge.